What does authenticity mean to you? When you hear people talk about be your authentic self, rise with your authenticity, what does it mean? I could read you the Webster's Dictionary meaning of it, but I really want to invite us to sit with what that means. What does it look like? Because I think we have collectively different versions of it, as we have different versions of every definition. We have our own associations, our own sense of it. I want to explore some of these spiritual terms because this channel is all about our rising with our empowered self, our authentic self, I often say. And it's about honoring our unique spiritual journeys and honoring the human experience, souls having a human experience. So, what does all that mean? Stay with me. This is Victoria. I'm your soul guide on the Soul Nurture channel. And I think this has been on my heart. I use a lot of terms, as do a lot of spiritual teachers or soul guides. And I thought, I just want to break them down. I want to invite you to question what they mean to you. So, what do you think about when you hear the word authenticity? I've been sitting with this for a little bit because, for number one, I feel, as a transformational hypnotherapist is my main modality. I work with clients and myself continually and reclaiming what I call our soul essence. And the reclaiming is all the potential underneath the conditioning that we all experience from the moment we take our first breath. Maybe even in utero. But we are, well, let me back up a step. Our first primary need that we need met in order to survive is the need for safety, to feel safe. And this is where conditioning begins in order to get those primary needs met. As souls having a human experience, with that first breath, we're in the human experience. And the people that are around us, the humans around us, our parents, our siblings, these are our primary teachers on how to function and how to be. And the primary need, to meet our needs, to feel safe, to belong, all of our basic needs in terms of food, shelter, all of that. But again, when a need isn't met, this is when we create, maybe let's say, the false self, the navigating self, the ego, the identity, the persona, the one that the parts of us that develop in order to get all those needs met are coping mechanisms, right? So authenticity, unless you've got some really incredible, authentic parents, and you know what? I think all parents do the best they can, but I have yet to meet a client who says, oh yeah, had the best parents. Even the best parents are going to set up circumstances consciously or unconsciously that will create the need for the soul to navigate the human experience with reclaiming, healing wounds, empowering gifts, all of this. I'm going off on a tangent. This is what I do when I freestyle, so I want to stay on topic. Authenticity. What does it mean? Does it mean not wearing makeup? Does it mean, I don't know. I'm exploring this. So I'll tell you a funny story. And here's something I'll say as I'm about to share a vulnerable story. I do think that sometimes we misconstrue or conflate vulnerability with authenticity. Like if I'm super vulnerable, which I think is a good thing, then I'm super authentic, and that's not necessarily true. I am going to say I can find myself sometimes being super vulnerable when I'm still kind of in a bit of a conditioned people pleasing, which is something I'm still coming out of conditioning around. Anybody else, people pleasers out there? People pleasing is such a deep conditioning experience. It's such a deep coping mechanism. In order to feel safe in the world, we people please. We put everybody else before ourselves. Well, at least I did in the past. I'm recovering. I'm training myself out of that. But conditioning is deep in the unconscious experience, right? Okay, so all that to say, I'm going to come back to a vulnerable thing that I want to share. It's kind of funny, though. When I moved from Los Angeles, California, city-ish girl, grew up in the suburbs, but moved to a small rural town in Washington. and fell in love with a native of this town who's just a wild man, grew up in the woods, grew up barefoot. He's a barefooter. And, and there I was with my highlighted blonde hair and my, you know, I remember meeting him early on. I was wearing like my thick boots with high heels, and here was this nature man, and I was like, wow, Tarzan and Jane, right? And a friend of ours, it was closer to him at the time. We started dating. This is really vulnerable. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. Okay, so she said to me, the men in this area like women who don't shave their arms and don't shave their legs. They're natural women. And I was like, oh, good to know. I was a people pleaser back then, so I would have said now, so I do what I do, right? So I grew the hair out of my legs and my armpits, and then my then boyfriend said to me, "What's going on?" And I said, "Oh, my so and so said you preferred natural." And he's like, "Not really." And so I was trying to force myself into authenticity. I think this is what some people do. I think we misconstrue what authenticity means. And first of all, authenticity isn't shoving yourself into a box that other people have decided is authentic. That's where we go wrong. And so what is authenticity, especially in a time with such with social media and people showing us their high reels of like how amazing their life is compared to ours, and maybe we're like, we're not that, right? What is authenticity? Yeah, so I don't think it has anything to do whether you dye your hair or you don't, or you wear makeup or you do or you don't, or if you shave your legs or you don't, or all of these things. I think there's inauthenticity in trying to be authentic. So I've been puzzling this, and I just wanted to invite you to it. What is your definition of it? What does it look like? Now, I think on a spiritual path, authenticity is reclaiming your true essence. And so that is questioning everything you do from a lens of, is this conditioning? Am I being this way in order to fit in, to get needs met? And that's inauthentic. Artificially getting our needs met in order to be loved, belonging, safe, whatever that is. Authenticity, I believe, is absolute freedom to be all of who you are, no matter how you look, what you're wearing, even if you're wearing a full face of makeup because that brings you joy and you feel good about it. And you don't need anything from anybody. You don't need approval. You're free in your authenticity, free to say what you want to say, free to wear what you want to wear, free to love who you want to love. This, to me, my friends, is authenticity. But I want to know what you think of it. So let's have a conversation in the comments. Tell me what it means to you. What does it look like for you? How do you know when you're in authenticity and when you're not? What is, free to be yourself feel like? What does being in your essence feel like? What does it look like? What do you do differently? Let's talk. See you in the comments. Thanks for being with me on the Soul Nurture channel. And subscribe if you haven't. Watch my other videos if you haven't. I will out myself, tell you the truth. This hasn't been the most comfortable place for me to be. And so a lot of my videos, maybe I'm not coming across authentic. It's been hard for me to read script. I'm not reading the script right now. This is what I do. This is where I'm most authentic. Authentic is when I'm just like, oh, my heart wants to say something. My soul wants to say something. But when I'm trying to relay information, I'm looking at a script or what I've written so I can get that to you. Like when I do the weekly, I'm calling it the weekly transformational weather, our transformational opportunities and Earth School. I do read a script. So sometimes maybe I come across inauthentic. And I'm working on that. I want to be as authentic and true to my nature as I can, to invite you to be authentic and true to your nature. All right. Thanks for being with me. I always appreciate your time. Anybody stopping by, let me know where you're viewing from and stick around. There's more to come soon. All right. Take good care. Bye.